Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you stuck with me this far. Did you remember to hit the like button? Did you subscribe? Great. Let's get on with it. I told Rodrigo that I didn't want anything other than acceptance into the clan, and he seemed satisfied. I wanted to keep my job and finish my education. Rodrigo smiled, and I got the impression that he didn't do that often. My dear, all I ask is that you visit occasionally. The rest of the clan will want an official visit to Romania soon. Yes, of course, I replied. The seer and Sarge's mother will be arriving tomorrow evening. After that, you may return to your home. I smiled back at him and watched him leave just as quietly as he came. When the seer comes, let her examine you. Do not volunteer anything, I heard Serge say. Okay, I suppose you heard what Rodrigo said to me. I am officially an Montenescu heir. Congratulations, but I must warn you, they are a very stuffy group. I commend your choice to remain independent. I had not had that option, which was why I took to the playboy lifestyle. It kept me sane, said Serge. I'll keep that in mind. Who are you talking to? Eric asked. He startled me. I didn't hear him come into the room. I wasn't talking to anyone. I recently started talking to myself because I didn't have anyone. I saw Rodrigo leave your room. Are you okay? I nodded. Yes, he's officially welcomed me into the clan, I told him. Eric looked crestfallen. Does that mean you're moving abroad? No, I've elected to stay here to finish my degree. He smiled. Great. I wanted to get to know you better. Is that okay with you? Are you asking me out? Maybe I am. For the first time since I've known him, Eric looked unsure of himself. There are a few things I must take care of with Rodrigo, so give me some time to think about it, okay? Cool. We've got nothing but time, right? Yeah, nothing but time, I echoed. Eric turned to leave with an even bigger smile on his face. I didn't know what to make of this new development. I didn't know how I felt about Eric or if I felt anything for him. He was a mystery. I found him interesting, but I didn't know him. As a rule, I didn't date much, preferring to keep to myself to keep my grades up so I could continue studying with my scholarship. The one guy I did date for a short while turned out to be, in the immortal words of Ruby, an ass, so I cut him off. Since then, I spent my time at the college studying. I was in a moral dilemma. With an eternity stretched out before me, could I afford to be promiscuous? I had time to sample countless men, and yet my upbringing made me feel dirty just thinking about it. I wondered how long it would take before I would become jaded and not care for anyone or anything but my own amusement. He will not hurt you. I've known Eric for a long time, and he is just as lonely as you'll become if you don't take a chance. He was married once and lost his wife on the night of her turning, said Serge. What happened to her? It is not my story to tell. If you decide to see him, he may tell you himself. That's not fair. You can't start and not finish. All the more reason for you to see him. I haven't seen him show interest in anyone since. What about Ruby? Ruby is happily married. I'll have to think about it. There's something important I need to show you before the seer arrives. Your talent is much more than psychic ability and shifting. Prepare yourself. For a short while, you'll be able to see me. Before I could comprehend what Serge meant, I saw him. He was standing in front of me. The only reason I didn't run screaming out of the room was because I had already met Serge. How much longer will I be able to see you? I asked a bit sadly. You'll continue to see me until the final gathering of the clan. When my mother comes, she will try to steal your gift. Do not accept any charms from her and do not drink anything from her. She is evil. Why would Rodrigo risk someone like her to come here? Rodrigo is giving her the chance to say goodbye. When Rodrigo turned me all those years ago, she vowed to undo it, but Rodrigo whisked me away. She turned to the dark arts and found a way to stay alive. So I will have a seer and your mother examining me? Will she be allowed to see your body? Only if Rodrigo allows it. However, my mother is evil. She might try to reanimate me. I need you to counter that. Out of pure spite, she would keep me zombified for as long as she can. I don't know anything about magic, black or otherwise. What do you expect me to do? I asked. You may not have known it, but you come from a long line of psychics yourself. It is why I was able to transfer my gift, otherwise, you would have died. Along with being a shifter, you are quite special. Ask Rodrigo to take you to the crypt. I left the room in search of Rodrigo. I didn't know where to find him, so I called his name out and he came to me. "What is it, my dear?" he asked. "I'd like to see Serge's body before his mother and the seer do," I said. "May I ask why?" "I don't know if I can explain it, but I feel that I need to see him," I replied. Rodrigo nodded. "Follow me." I followed him to a door down the hall from the front door. I continued to follow him downstairs to the basement. I expected the basement to be dank and moldy. Instead, it was just a large room with a boiler and hot water tank in the far corner. It was finished with a dark gray carpet. There, on a raised platform, was Serge's coffin. I felt a chill go through me seeing it. Rodrigo helped me raise the lid so I could see the body. Serge's body was indeed still fresh-looking. There was no sign of decay even after 4 months. "I want you to ruin my remains. That way my mother cannot tamper with it." I turned to Rodrigo. "Rodrigo, can I have a moment alone with him?" I asked. Rodrigo nodded and left me. I turned to Serge expectantly. He instructed me on what to do. I didn't speak because I didn't want anyone to know that I could still communicate with Serge. With vamp hearing, they could probably hear if I whispered. I walked back upstairs to find Rodrigo, Eric, and Ruby all waiting for me. I nodded to them and headed up to my room. "Wait, tell us what you did down there," Eric insisted. I turned to them slowly. I paid my respects. He was my sire, and I never got the chance to see him. With tears streaming down my face, I hurried up the stairs. The following evening, Serge's mother, Moira, arrived. She came alone, but I could feel a presence in her, and an immediate revulsion. She was much more than a mere witch. She was a dark witch. It took significant effort to be in the same room with her. The others didn't seem to be affected by her, though. Rodrigo was the perfect host. He laid a full spread for her. He wouldn't allow her to see Serge's remains until we had eaten. I sat as far away from her as I could. She kept sneaking glances at me, making me feel even more uncomfortable. After dinner, she insisted on getting on with the examination. She explained that the council had given her special permission to function as a seer for her son's heir. Rodrigo confirmed that it was true. Serge had been coaching me on how not to show her that I could feel her presence. "Come closer, my dear. Let me look at you," she said in a gravelly voice. Serge's mother looked like a Hollywood version of a crone. She had the pointed chin, and she was wearing a black shawl. I approached her slowly, trying to be brave, and stopped a few feet from her. She sighed and moved closer to me. She was much taller than I was, and when I looked up at her face, her eyes glowed. Moira reached out to touch me. I closed my eyes tightly and silently recited the mantra Serge taught me. The witch in turn recited something in a language I didn't know. Then she stopped abruptly. I opened my eyes to find her glaring at me. "Impossible! You cannot be!" She stepped back from me. There was fear in her eyes. "What is it, Moira?" asked Rodrigo. She placed a hand on her chest as if to calm herself. "She's very gifted." I sense a touch of psychic ability and a very old magic. She is going to be powerful, she continued. She stepped away to reach the big black bag she came with. She reached inside and pulled out a vial. She looked at me again. "Drink this. It will help me look further into your gifts and identify them," she said. "Thank you, but I'm not thirsty," I told her coldly. "As you wish," Moira acquiesced. "I'd like to see Serge now." We all followed Rodrigo down to the basement where Serge's body lay. With a fling of her hand, the lid lifted, and we all could see Serge's remains. The air turned cold suddenly, and Moira reached inside to touch the body. "After 300 years, you are finally resting in peace, my son. No one can control you any longer. You are free of the vampiric curse. Rest, my son, rest." Again, Moira reached inside her gigantic black bag and pulled out another vial. From this, she poured out a black liquid and anointed his head with it. "What are you doing?" I asked, alarmed. Serge was standing beside her, shaking his head. "You can't hurt me, you hag!" he bellowed in her ear. Moira shivered and smiled at the corpse. Then she turned to us. "I've sent him on his way," she assured us. I tried not to laugh because Serge was still standing beside her. "What have you done, you miserable creature? I allowed you the courtesy of seeing your son for the last time, and you try to use your vile magic to do what?" Rodrigo asked. I could tell that he was angry. Moira cackled like the true evil witch she was. "You've had my son long enough, it's my turn now." Before anyone could react, Rodrigo Vamp sped toward her and caught her by the throat. "You're too late, Moira. Serge is at peace, and there's nothing you can do." Moira cackled again and abruptly disappeared, leaving Rodrigo holding on to air. Serge's body collapsed into itself, and Eric closed the lid. Rodrigo's anger filled the room, and I knew that if I didn't do something, he would tear the basement apart. "Rodrigo, calm down, please. Moira didn't do anything to Serge's body. He's still here with us, if for a brief time." "What are you saying?" asked Eric. "Let's go upstairs, I can explain," I told them. We met in the dining room, and I sat at the table. "I've been communicating with Serge from the beginning of my turning. He took care of me the best way he knew how, despite being a spirit and all. I do have the psychic gift, but not the way Moira thinks it is. I can see Serge and only him. I can hear thoughts, and I am a feline shifter as well." "Why do I feel that there's more?" asked Ruby. She had been silent the whole time Moira was here. "No, not really. I am psychic like Serge, but with a little twist. It's a little overwhelming," I told them. "Wow, you're like the girl with all the gifts," exclaimed Ruby. "So, what happened to Serge's body?" Rodrigo asked. He sounded like his old self again. When I asked to pay my respects, Serge instructed me on how to protect his spirit and body. Moira tried to steal him. That substance she smeared on him was to prepare him to travel, but it didn't work. She went alone. "What did you do?" asked Eric. Moira's intent was to keep him as a slave. "I merely protected my sire as I should." "How did you do that?" asked Rodrigo. "I'm not at liberty to say. Just rest assured that when we travel back to Europe, Serge's remains will be safe, and you can place it in the family crypt," I answered. "So, what now?" Ruby asked. "I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm beat and I'm turning in," I said. Then I turned to Rodrigo. "May I speak with you in private?" Rodrigo followed me to my bedroom. I turned to face him and smiled brightly. "I know this is a little strange, but Serge wanted to protect you from any fallout with Moira. Did you know she practiced black magic?" "I knew, and we had settled our differences long ago. Why would she want revenge now? Serge was going to die, and her magic wasn't strong enough. She agreed that I do whatever it took to save him, so I gave him the vamp gift." "Ask him if he had any other conditions for turning me?" asked Serge. "Serge wants to know if there were any conditions for his turning," I relayed. Rodrigo looked around him quickly. He turned paler, if that was possible. "Yes, Serge is still here," I told him, putting him at ease. "There was this sickness, a plague. People were dying, you see. I was in Paris on business and came upon her in the street. She was crying with his head in her lap. I sensed that he was special, so I took pity on him. I explained what I could do for him, and she agreed. She wanted me to turn her too, but the council forbade me." "So, you turned him and left her behind?" "I had no choice. Besides, her witchcraft was anathema to vampires." "I see. It must have been painful to lose a loved one in that manner. However, being that she is a witch, and a dark witch at that, it made it impossible to have any contact," I surmised. "What will happen now?" Rodrigo asked, looking around as if he could catch a glimpse of Serge. "Tell him that I will be fine. I have somewhere to go. Once my remains lie with the others, I will go peacefully," Serge said. "Thank goodness," Rodrigo said, visibly relieved after I relayed Serge's answer. "There's one more thing. Will the council have a problem with me being a feline shifter?" "No. The vampiric gift is mostly attracted to people with talents or gifts. After 600 years, I have gained the power to compel. Before that, I was a feline shifter as well. I haven't shifted in a long time. Is this something we can share?" Serge won't be around to train me, so yeah, that is something we can definitely share. Wow, you've shattered every vampire myth I know, I said. I sensed there was something different in you. Serge chose well. It has been exactly 1 year since I've been a vampire. I got my degree, and I am currently working in the lab where I had previously interned at. My immediate supervisor is a royal pain, but I wouldn't change it for anything. The Montenescu clan legally changed my name to theirs, and I, being the rogue that I am, hyphenated it. My grandmother passed away recently, leaving my father everything. I'm not upset because my mother was her daughter-in-law, and when she died giving birth to me, my father, her son, didn't want anything to do with me. I had no other family, and I am grateful she took me in. I went to the funeral just to see for myself if he had any feelings for me, and I wasn't surprised that he snubbed me. I knew who I was, and that's fine. I found out that I had siblings from his new wife. I was cordial and wished them the best. I went because I wanted to close that chapter of my life. I had a new one that didn't exclude me. My life as a vampire has its rewards. I had given Eric my answer. We've been dating for a few months now, and I like him. I helped him celebrate his birthday. He's not half bad for 75. Rodrigo is happy for us and is eagerly awaiting for us to make it permanent. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. We are still young, and there is so much of the world to see. Did I mention that being a vampire is as wonderful an undead life can get? I am Victoria Michaels-Montenescu. Thank you for sticking with me on this journey. Stay tuned for another tale coming soon.